conversations through our common friends, and we spent several hours, surprisingly, in laughter, talking about the ridiculous, the sublime, the historic, some serious conversations dating from his life and his love of Malcolm. But mostly it really was hours of laughter. The ridiculous in terms of the war, the political situation, and also the serious, the situation that black folks faced, not just in Harlem, not just in New York, not just in the United States, but all around the world. He is a man who should be honored on his 70th birthday, and his 75th, and his 80th, and his 85th, and beyond, because he has remembered us for so many years in struggle on behalf of freedom for all humanity. To Elombe, to all of you, I thank you for this opportunity. On the move, long live John Africa. From Death Row, this is Mumia Abu Jamal. And I definitely want to forget the brother, because he was fun. I've read about the brother and heard about the brother, like I said, but, to see this little guy and to kick it with him, he has a hell of a sense of humor. You don't see that in guys his age a lot. He is funny. It's a joy just being in his presence.
All right, good afternoon. As you know, you're watching 30 Frames a Second, and for those of you who watch regularly, I'm Matt Wood. Saturday, we're going to be honoring one of the premier soldiers in the Pan-African struggle, the struggle of black people throughout the entire diaspora. He's one of the few soldiers that we have that is just loved and respected by everyone. And in case you didn't get it from Mumia honoring Elombe Brath's 70th birthday, it is indeed the inimitable Elombe Brath that we're going to be celebrating this Saturday. I'm going to read a little bit now. A lot of you know Elombe as a longtime producer of the radio show on WBAI, but I'm going to read a little bit of Elombe's bio that's from the World African Diaspora Union, which we refer to as WADI. And I'm going to take my glasses off because I'm old, so I got to take my glasses off to read. Elombe Brath, Chief Elder Emeritus, co-founder of the WADI, called by His Excellency Dudley Thompson an icon of the Pan-African movement. As founder and chair of the Patrice Lumumba Coalition, Elombe worked relentlessly for the African liberation struggle, holding panels, rallies, demonstrations, and speaking at colleges and universities and community forums for the independence of Angola, Guinea-Bissau, Mozambique, Namibia, and his anti-apartheid work for the release of Nelson Mandela and for majority rule of South Africa years before the 1986 campaign that brought popular politicians to the cause. His support of Guinea in their struggle to maintain their independence despite the war waged against them by the former colonial invaders, Portugal, earned him the Croix de Chivalry from, I don't speak French, but I know it's pretty in French, the Cross of Chivalry from President Touré and the government of Guinea. His work with Unity in Action, which he headed in the African Liberation Support Committee, is greatly responsible for countering the millions of dollars spent by the illegal regime in South Africa to get to the minds of the American public and keep them silent to the injustices that were perpetrated on the majority population of South Africa and Namibia. This earned him the right to be the master of ceremonies at the 1990 tribute to Nelson and Winnie Mandela in Harlem, where more than 200,000 people gathered to salute one of the greatest freedom fighters of modern times. 4 months after he was released from a 27-year term in prison. Let's see. I just messed up some stuff there, but I do that. 27-year term in prison, where he might still be today if not for the struggle of the masses around the world and the crushing defeat of the South African Army by the forces SWAPO's People's Liberation Army of Namibia Elombe Brath this Saturday at Harriet Tubman. And I am proud to have his baby brother here with me, John Brathwaite. We're waiting on Kwame. He must have got waylaid. But in any event, we're going to have a real good time talking to Elombe's brother. We're going to dig all in his business. And with that, if you guys are ready, you can roll my opening, and we will be right back. Perpetrator is now the victim. And that just drives me crazy. And we're back. And as I said before, it is my honor to welcome John Brathwaite, the youngest brother of the three of them. There was Elombe, Kwame, and John. And he's going to take us back in time. Now, when we get to the place on Saturday, when we start talking about the place on Saturday, when we all go there, it's a free event. You really ought to see this event. And we'll be talking about it more. I didn't bring the flyer, so I'm going to have to look all of that up. Somebody will call in and, lambaste me for doing that. But there's all sorts of speakers who want to speak on Elombe's behalf. You have these tremendous performers, and everybody's going to be speaking about the tremendous work Elombe Brath has been doing for like decades as a freedom fighter. But I got his brother here, so we're going to talk about Elombe the human being, because you're not going to get that anywhere else. And as Namir said, that's a funny brother with a lot of love in his heart. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce to you John Brathwaite. How you doing, brother?
I'm fine.
Excellent.
I'm fine. Glad to be here.
Excellent. We were talking a little before the show.
Yes.
And you said that you're basically a native New Yorker. Your family were New Yorkers. They sort of came out of Harlem, and you ended up being raised in the Bronx. Take us back to the early days. What was it like being the baby brother of two dynamic individuals like Elombe and Kwame?
Well, first of all, I was very lucky because you had two older brothers who could help you with all your homework. So that was always kind of good. But interesting, you mentioned funny because we always had a lot of laughter in our house, a lot of interesting current events and things. But laughter was always present. Someone was always telling a joke or trying to make somebody else laugh. It just came with the family. A lot of laughter.
Right. You mentioned that a lot of times people see activists, especially dynamic activists, like not just Elombe, but all of you guys. Kwame is certainly a tremendous activist. If nothing else, your intense family structure and the love that you had in that family structure is about as black as it gets anywhere in the world. Anytime you have a black family that learns together, grows together, loves and develops together, that's a black power movement, no doubt. Your father, you said he was an entrepreneur. He ran a cleaners. Give us some insight on coming up here, your parents.
My father was the sole proprietor of a dry cleaners in Harlem that was well known for his excellence in tailoring. And so people came from far and wide to have their stuff expertly tailored, redone, resized.
Where was this at in Harlem?
It was diagonally across the street from Small's Paradise.
Wow.
134th and 7th Avenue.
Yeah, that's how it's Harlem.
Now, the location is no longer there because if you go to that corner, you'll see Buns, Hats by Bun. But years past, there was a dry cleaners and a grocery store just past where Bun's shop is now. And we had the dry cleaners. And of course, they cleaned them with press clothes and stuff. But the success of the shop was the fact that my father was an expert tailor.
Right. Now, you also mentioned the fact that your father was an entrepreneur during probably the period of the most intellectual growth of any black community in America.
Yes.
So you grew up with. How did your brother gravitate so much toward the Garvey movement? What was in place in the family structure that created this dynamic awareness?
There was talk of Marcus Garvey, and we understood Marcus Garvey in a very positive way. Mm-hmm. And so he was always a figure mentioned in family discussions and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think it was sometime before my brother's organization started the natural shows in 1962.
Remember?
No. The African Jazz Art Society and Studios, they were the first organization, and they sponsored jazz concerts in the Bronx, mostly at the Club 845 in the Bronx, promoting jazz. Just promoting jazz. But then they branched out to start doing the naturally shows. Mm-hmm. And that's when the whole Black is Beautiful thing started to take off. The natural hair and the Black is Beautiful.
Early 60s?
Early 60s.
Wow.
But they were political before then.
Yeah.
Because that didn't just come out of the blue. So I can't give you an exact date on it, but...
Well, I'm just looking at it.
Yeah. But that was the early 60s, late 58 through 62, that period, I think it all happened there. I think that in seeing things like the murder of Emmett Till and other injustices, it sort of politicizes you, and you try to figure out what to do. And I don't think that the solution, the nonviolent solution that was being promulgated at the time was one that had much appeal, not in the circles that I'm familiar with. And so I think that there had to be an alternative. And that alternative came about in the form of Black nationalism.
How did you guys become so aware of Africa? I mean, even today, and we're talking 21st century, there is a programming of black people that makes them almost adverse to even admitting to themselves that they are African, much less acknowledging it to the world. And you know.
In our family, there was always a lot of black pride. The perception was, well, first of all, the family came originally from Barbados, so it was an outside kind of perspective.
Right.
But also, it was that that kind of understanding that what you're being fed here is not the real story, because somebody's telling you that you can't do this, you're inferior and stuff. And we never had that. I never got that when I was a child. You know, it was always about being able to do things and so on. So that's, you don't have that perspective. You have a different perspective. You start out being, no one ever tell me I am somebody. Or you are somebody.
Right.
So that's where that started from.
Right. I say this often that if you're a king, you know it. You know, I mean, and I just want to say, I have the pleasure of welcoming Kwame Brath. He has arrived. So speaking of kings, His Royal Highness Kwame Brath is here. He is a dynamic individual in his own right. You know, it must have been very difficult. You coming behind these two guys. These two guys.
They're pointing the way. They're pointing the way. That's how you learn. You don't say, you just want to see how someone else did something was successful and stuff, and then you want to be like them.
Right.
Everybody else put their own spin on it. He's got his own special thing that we all look up to.
Right.
Thank you.
Kwame,
Yes, sir.
how was it growing up now? John is like, what, 7, 6 and a half?
5 years younger.
5 years younger. So when he's just coming up into his stickball era, you know, you guys are like teenagers. You are beginning to formulate very complicated ideas and, you know, and see the world in a unique young adult, young African perspective and whatnot. And you got baby brother. How is that? So you got one eye on the world and one eye on baby brother, you know, coming up in New York City. Take us back to the glorious days of yesteryear.
Well, you know, our years of enlightenment, or enlightenment, as we like to say, was started by 1938.
Wow.
So you're like 10, I was 10 years old.
Wow, you're 10 and 48. So you come up, you're born basically into the Harlem Renaissance era.
Yes.
In the heart of Renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Right. And that's when we started getting conscious of what was happening in the world. Growing up on the block, it was just like any other block, you know,
Wow.
except that, you know, several people influenced us about what was happening here. And we used to go to the movies and they had the car, you know, the chapters, and then they had Pathé News.
Right.
We would see the French Indochina War and whatnot, or whatever war is at the time, and then you see the troop planes landing and the French forces come on. Oh, you watching it? What is that? I think it's the French forces, you know?
Right.
And whatnot. And we started questioning that and whatnot. Growing up, several people that went to school and churches, like Colin Powell, he was going off to Southern Boulevard and learning Yiddish, and we were trying to, you know, go to
that's the same thing in the Revolutionary War. They keep saying the French, because it was Jean Lafitte. It was the Haitians. It wasn't.
That won this country for them.
Right. A lot of people don't know that, you know.
Well, we got to tell them. We got to tell them.
What is the feeling you get now? You're born in 38, which means that you're coming up. You're born in the era of Arturo Schomburg. You go from being born in the age of Arturo Schomburg to being displayed in the Schomburg Museum. That you come a long way, baby.
It was quite a trip. Our father is one that got us interested in art because he was an artist himself, you know, a painter. Used to take us summer vacations up to Sag Harbor and up those places, and teach us how to paint in oils and whatnot, and things like that. But we continued, you know, dealing with, you know, what's happening in the world.
Right.
And it was until about 1956 that we really got involved in African nationalism and Garveyism as we met Carlos Cook and African nationalist pioneers. And
tell us about that.
Well, that was, he was our mentor.
That's big.
As a matter of fact, the 100th anniversary of Carlos Cook's birth is June 23rd, which is coming up next
For those who don't know, tell us who Carlos Cook is.
Carlos Cook was born in Dominican Republic, all right? And his father was a Garvey. As you know, Garvey had chapters all over the world. His paper, The Negro World, was distributed all right, and that brought consciousness to a lot of places under colonialism. A lot of one of the best jobs for black people then was men were making cement.
Right,
they were the one that spread the paper around
I got
the
a
world.
bicycle every year.
They had chapters in Cuba at UNI. They had chapters. They had, I think, hundreds of chapters in Namibia. You know, South Africa, and also in South America. So Garveyism is being spread all over the world. And Carlos Cook, who was a Garvey, he the folks in the movement gave him, like a lackluster welcome. He came to bringing money to the organization. He got a little discouraged because Chris was enrolled into the youth division of the UNIA, and he grew up and he was the head of the youth division. He was really fast there. And make a long story short, after he made his name, establishing the FBI. I forget what they called it right now, but whatever it was, but it was no good. Whatever, but it was framed Garvey and put those convicted in an open envelope.
$20.
There was no money.
There was no money. It was empty.
Wow. And somebody said, well, he had this in that envelope, and he fell this to me, and whatnot. And they convicted him of fraud, mail fraud.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was spent some time in prison, and then went to.
But his vision was so massive. It had to make the white power structure nervous.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what it was all about. They weren't interested in
yeah.
I mean, here he had the Black Star Line.
And right. At the same time, you're saying, up you mighty race, you can do anything you want to do. He has these big visions. We don't even have these kind of visions, like today, these all-encompassing visions. We just want like a big TV.
Right, yeah. Well, after Garvey, he lived in England after he released from prison. He went to England and whatnot, and they were corresponding with college coaches, corresponding and things like that. Garvey died in 1940, and in 1941, college coaches established the African Nationalist Pioneer Movement because he thought that the UNIA, Universal Improvement Association, was just sitting on the fence and just coming to meetings where most of the folks were very old, and whatnot, and they would sing the anthem, recite the things and whatnot, and doing it, and doing it. But it was like a lot of the folks are doing today. They're not even keeping up with what's happening. And then, so he established that, and his whole life.
You and your brother are very, very close in age. Were you coming to these conclusions? Were you becoming aware as a team almost? Was one guy a little more precocious, or how was
he was just a little heavy.
Well, yeah.
Right?
He was always just a little bit ahead of me, too.
He was the one
Just a little.
that got us coming out, when I say us, myself, and a few other people that we had formed the AGAS, African Girls Art Society.
Right, together was mentioned that.
Yeah, and it started with students at High School of Industrial Art. And after we graduated, we had started this, at that time it was a social club, and then we started promoting jazz. And we got more and more political. And as we got more political, we used to meet at our house. So we had a family house, and we had a finished basement that we used to meet at. And we got more and more political. Some of the folks didn't want to go in that direction.
Right.
And there was a big argument out there, and Elombe and one of the guys had to step outside, and we went out there. And Elombe beat her, and that was, and that brought us into, and we started doing more things that were more African conscious and along with
just knowing certain things, can make some people uncomfortable. Just having a political awareness, when you're in circles that, they know who won the basketball game, but they really don't want to,
they don't want to know.
Right,
you got to take responsibility to do something about it.
Right.
And that's not what they
Right.
want, They were guys like, we have our affairs and whatnot, and then even the very first affair occurred in Small's Paradise, December 24th, 1956, right now. And we came ready to work, and the other guys that did nothing and whatnot, they came all dressed up and where the flowers were the girls, and whatnot, and they just come on a party. So, but that soon went by the wayside as we learned more and more about Garvey and the philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey, which is the book that he produced, and it was like our Bible.
right? And
56, that was not long after the death of Emmett Till.
55, yeah. During high school, senior in high school at the time.
Wow.
Remember seeing Jet magazine and that.
Yeah, what was that experience like? And even the picture in Jet magazine obviously couldn't even do justice to the truth, and the picture was horrific. But they sort of had to make up. They sort of had to fluff up the face, because as many his mother said, his eye sockets were completely out. They had to do extensive work just to get it in that condition so that it could be
display.
Now you were in 1955, 56. How old were you? About 12. Were you aware of?
Oh yeah, we talked about it, didn't it? Around the house.
Wow.
That.
At 12, that's a lot.
That was a national. But that was a national thing. Everybody in the country knew about that.
Yeah. But it's one thing for someone 18, 19. It's another thing you coming into your own and all this love in the world and you just want to do your thing and you are suddenly you just have truth slapped across the back of your head with a brick, this is who you are. This is what you are. This is what you fight for.
Yeah, and Alom with his art, he started going into caricature because then when he would do cartoons
Right.
and whatnot, and they were always political. And of course, when he graduated from high school and got to art, I was one year behind him. And he went into cartoonist and illustrator school, which is not school of visual arts. And some of the instructors there were fighting to keep him out and whatnot. And one instructor came to his aid, and fought for him. And that was Vern Hogarth, creator of Tarzan.
Right.
All right. And,
Wow.
So, so he got in there, and he actually found feelings, and they were all tight together, and whatnot, and did a lot of the political things.
Wow. So, now, somewhere in the course of this, you guys got into, you're into art, you're into politics, you're both photographers. Elombe is opening up a political jazz club, that you're a part of. So you're into art, you're into music, you're into current events, especially events that relate to the black, the African diaspora. You're starting organizations, you're starting to meet very influential people at a young age.
Right. That was not only the beginning of the African support, but it was the beginning of the Black Arts Movement, as we know it today. That's 1956. That's 9 years before the stated 1965 start of when Elombe Brath brought his theater group up to Harlem. They did some great work on it. That was in the beginning. It came because it was already a arts movement in Harlem.
Now, I'd be remiss, and I don't want to go through an entire hour without asking the very pointed question, how is Elombe doing? And how is Nimsa doing? Because,
Nimsa's doing fine.
Good.
She's doing fine. So they get around and whatnot. She's clear of mind and everything else. Elombe is still in a semi-trance position. Sometimes he, you can see that he's responding to what you're saying and whatnot, and at times he's staring up into the space. There are some things that he does when there's certain things, and he'll make certain motions or sounds, but he's not able to speak.
Is there going to be a way to reach out to the family, or how? Because there's so many people who always asking about Elombe, and the only person I could speak to was you, and I didn't have your number until recently to even like, but people want to know how Elombe is doing, what they can do, and
there's a couple of things we're doing. One thing that every evening a lot of us have our alarm ceremony around the country at 9:30 to go say a prayer for him.
Oh, nice. That's 9:30.
9:30.
Excellent.
And there are certain things that we want to experiment with. See, he's sending a feeding tube, so we can't give him certain nutrients and stuff like that.
Right.
But there are certain other things that go through the skin that we're going to experiment with. Tried once, and it seemed to have pepped him up and got him more focused and looking at you. So that's one thing that we need divine intervention right now, I think.
And we need to be more attentive in telling people who we rely on that we love them. We are very negligent in doing that. We are so busy. A lot of times it seems like we just mean and mad, and that's really not who we are. That might be what we're portrayed to be. But now, talking to you're a beautiful family, a lot of love, a lot of togetherness, forward thinking, aware. I don't think that people filled with bile and venom make very good soldiers.
More amongst themselves than against the enemy right now.
Right.
Elombe and I started a book some years ago called Visions of African Liberation, telling about this whole struggle and our growing up and the connections we made and going right on up until I'm finishing it now because through the liberation movement from the first time in 1960 when Carlos Cooks heard that Sam and Yona was at the UN, this new young voice from the Southwest African People's Organization, petitioning the UN for independence of Southwest Africa. And Cooks heard about him, and invited him up to speak at the Henry Lincoln Johnson Laboratory, which was on 126th Street between 5th and Lenox, which means the street at the time and whatnot. And when he came and he spoke, he was so impassionate. We knew we had our man. That day, we formed the Southwest African Relief Committee to send them, foods and stuff and whatnot. And later on, and the Cooks told him, he said, listen, you can't appeal to the conscience of these people because they have no conscience. So you got to go to war. You got to fight. And some years later, 11 men crossed the border into Angola and started military training. And that's when PLAN, the People's Liberation Army of Namibia, was formed, and they fought. And we supported what we could do. We can send money and we could bring boots and stuff like that. We didn't have no arms system, but we did what we can. And every time they would come here, to the UN, because they're non-governmental organizations, and people come and speak, at the UN, and we would always have them up at Harlem. We probably had more presidents up in Harlem than any governmental agency.
They still go up there. But they want to get elected.
The Prime Minister, Harriet Tubman, who was just in the country just 3 weeks ago tomorrow. I heard he was in the country. I dropped a note to the embassy, and he called me and he said he went to go and see Elombe. And within half hour, I had arranged it, and I waited down in front of the nursing home with the, cars coming running through, zooming up, whatnot, the Secret Service running out, and whatnot. He comes in a big bear hug and whatnot, and again he spends 20 minutes with Elombe. And because Elombe was responding, so he did know everything that was there.
I think almost, I said, just incomparable, is Elombe himself. I think everybody else knows, that the boy is bad.
And is appreciated only in Europe.
Correct.
Even in some European countries and whatnot, that are freedom-loving peoples,
Correct.
Yeah.
And he had I say had because he's not in the street, around the people and whatnot. So people who don't know him will not have, probably not have a chance to really interact with him, But you never know. He's a strong brother, Y'all might be saying this about him. He might be like doing this show talking about me. Khalid Gibran Muhammad, who is now in charge of the Schomburg, he wrote a book called The Condemnation of Blackness, in which he talks about the way black people were portrayed by white elite and intelligentsia academicians, as being criminal, as being prone to nothing, they have nothing going for them in a positive manner. They are just naturally criminal and naturally stupid, And he deals with the Reconstruction era. The way that people in Africans all over the world are portrayed is not much different as a whole, They'll take one or two black guys, like they'll take an Obama and say, well, we're not really talking about you, you're one of the good ones. But by and large, the portrayal of Africans and African people is people who are not educable and prone to violence. And here you come out in one of the most racist eras in the history, of America, certainly one of the most racist and controlled eras post-Reconstruction, and you guys are tremendous, How do you explain that? What dynamic force was involved to make you guys so bad?
I guess your associations, people that you come in contact with, like you come in contact with in NPN, African Occupying Movement, it's such a, you can learn so much information there. And when you check back on it, you find it factual, So, I mean, it
so when we're looking for a blueprint of how to raise our families in the year 2013, 2015, 2020, what sort of advice would you, how do we approach that? How do I get my family to be like,
I don't know of any formula, but certainly families should be concerned with each other and not the outside world, and building on that, and then they can be strong in that regard. That's what I look at it.
If you guys can, I have, as always, I get consumed with my guests, and I could pick their brain forever. But you can put up the phone. Come on, you guys are too smart for me. See, I told you I'm always the dumbest one in the mix. You guys had a relationship with Gil Noble. How did that develop?
Well, I was working at ABC Television, the graphic artist there, and Gil Noble, who was working with the LIB as a newscaster in Africa.
Whoa!
And after the turmoil in the 60s, riots and whatnot, the white stations were looking to get somebody back on the air. Because,
and somebody who had access to black people, because they were kind of scared.
Right, and Gil wasn't popularly known then, but I mean, he was known as a newscaster on the LIB, so the people knew him and knew the good work that he was doing, so, this is how it turned into ABC, much more often, but when he arrived at ABC, Elombe approached him, he lived a couple of years after that, and started talking to him about what direction he should be taking and whatnot. You don't normally get to call your own shots when you're in, and he was working as a newsman before that. He didn't have a positive stories in the community. And one that was there coaching each and every way and said, well, listen, this is what's happening here and pointing in this direction, that way. And Gil was very much into love with black folks, you know, and people who are doing something progressive.
Now this event that we're having May 11th, this Saturday at Harriet Tubman, how did this come together? What were the components? Who is involved? Who is sponsoring this thing? Who is putting it together? How did this come to be?
Bill Perkins.
State Senator Bill Perkins.
It's his idea, his brainchild and whatnot. And he financed it too, you know, getting things together and whatnot. And he, of course, turned to the family for direction and for we've had meetings for now a couple months. And
he does some things, Senator Perkins does some things that has to confound the state Senate sometimes. I remember he dedicated Kwame and Nkrumah in the state Senate, you know. And it was kind of funny because I saw the videotape and they were, you know, the white state senators were, you know, they had their way of, you know, Kwame, I was like, okay, spit it out, yeah. But,
just a couple of weeks ago, having a proclamation in the state Senate honoring Elombe. It was done before people turn around and
a lot of people don't realize, you know, just how active he is in you know, unabashedly promoting African culture and African people who are important to the African community, because the people who are important to us are often vilified by the media at large. So tell us about the event.
And it looks for the needs of the people and tries to fulfill it.
Correct. So tell us about the event, Saturday.
Well,
I didn't bring the flyer. Let me see if while you talk, I'm going to see what I can pull up on this.
Well, Saturday's event will be a tribute to Elombe, and it's got a lot of appeal not only to people here in the community and other cities around the United States, but also to other governments. There'll be representatives from various African nations and other some Caribbean nations. We won't call it because there are a couple confirmations, and we don't want to go with some without, you know, speaking the others and whatnot. But I will tell you, one of the reasons I'm late here today, I'm just trying to finalize something. And I will just say that Saturday, the same day of the event, is founding father Samuel Young's birthday. And we're having a big thing in Namibia and whatnot. So you might get a chance to wish him happy birthday.
Nice. You got some powerful speakers. You got people who could dominate just to get Randy West in there, you know. Randy is a credit card big, you know. You got to you know, spend a couple of bucks and take somebody you really enjoy being with to hear this brother play. And Elijah Allen Gums is going to be there, and I think
I would have tried to avoid naming names because then I'm
name them. It's a free event, and it's going to be a dynamic event. I would ask everybody to come out and check out this event because it's going to be one heck of an event. I'm trying to pull up some specifics on it because, you know, like the Dunderhead, I was in the studio Saturday with the Ancestry House. Camille Yarbrough is going to be probably doing libations, and we were doing her show on Saturday and whatnot, and I'm handing out these flyers, and I got on different pants, so. But it's going to be a dynamic event, a free event. There's no way on God's earth that you could get this quality of representation in a free event, you know. Or a paid event. Right. Which is a testimony to Elombe.
And it's more that all the people in the community should come out to this event. So don't think of it as something for older people or people.
Right.
The young people need to come and see
we're going to try to videotape some of these people because there are so many people coming and so many people who are going to want to say positive words to and about Elombe Brath. That we're going to have to like go out in the audience and whatnot and sort of get some speakers, because if we allowed everybody to speak, I'm sure we would be there until June 23rd.
Quite a long time. A lot of people want to speak.
That's a testament to your brother. That's,
It is.
you know, that's
we have it in two parts. We have it in the auditorium, and we'll have it also in the cafeteria area.
Right.
You see, so you can put some people aside at times and whatnot. Not that you will leave the front desk.
Right. Again, you mentioned Senator Perkins. There are some others involved in this thing. I think D12 has a hand in it.
Senator staff, excuse me, Senator staff has been magnificent.
You know, that is incredible, because I was at the state office building, and literally every person in the staff is involved in this thing, which is like kind of unprecedented, especially when you, and I mean top down. I don't mean like he told all his staff just handle it. I mean, he's in the mix, Cordell is in the mix, Keith Lilly is in the mix, Lily's in the mix. The whole staff is putting this thing together.
They work really well together.
Right.
Full court press.
Yeah. He runs a cool operation. He has good people, you know. And Cordell is as dynamic as it gets. Keith, the whole staff, you know. Keith Lilly, Cordell Clear, Lindawood Guy, and probably anybody that they could find in the elevator is working on this. We're kind of running short of time. Anything you'd like to add? I didn't get a chance to. Well, no, you've been like giving up the time to your big brother, you know. But this ain't your big brother show. You know, it's my show. Don't worry about it. What would you like to add? Is there anything that you would like your big brother to know that you can say for posterity?
I don't know. I think he knows that how we all feel about him. But he's been a great influence over a lot of people. Now, one thing we didn't talk about much about here is there's so much humor. He has such a great sense of humor. Some of this is missed. You know, people don't know that, but he has a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I think that adds more humanity to the man, because other people think, oh well, it's politics.
Right.
And no, it's a lot of joy and humor.
Right. Kwame?
Well, I mean, he has been my leader and a lot of people's leader for many years, decades. I mean, this 53 years that he has been in the struggle.
Wow.
53 years. That's right. 1960.
Wow.
He actually was 19. You could go back into when we formed AJ, 1956, is even longer than that. But when you got deeper and we started getting into the godliness and strong, you know, it's been that long. And not intermittently. I'm talking about every day. So like it's a thing that's just part of our life. Because, you know, I guess I couldn't do anything else. But what we're doing now is we're trying to complete the book. We are completing the book that Elombe and I started some years ago, and it will be self-published. And we were going to do it the route that's today's route, and that is self-publishing. We were looking for contributions, going over some of the, like the Indigo and very well that way. We'll be talking about that at the event at some point and finding out something that people know how they can help and bring this to it. Because, you know, we talk with and I talk all the time to other organizations saying, look, you can go to the Schomburg right now and read about things that happened thousands of years ago. But that's not all that happened. Mm-hmm. That's what got documented. So you better start now archiving your stuff and document it. So we try to create the archives of the organization, of the individuals and whatnot, whether it's my photographs, whether it's his writings, whether it's both, and also use that for the resources to publish books and get it out there yourself.
I'm trying to, trying to get the exact address for Harriet Tubman.
What you said is Harriet Tubman is 127th Street between Adam Clayton Powell, which is 7th Avenue, and Frederick Douglass, which is 8th Avenue. Big school.
127th Street between 7th and 8th.
That's it.
All right. And it starts at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. 4 o'clock.
All right, 4 o'clock Saturday.
I'll be there.
The joint going to be rocking.
Yes. Get there early, get a good spot.
Get there early, get a good spot. You heard it from the man himself. We'll be celebrating the dynamo that is Elombe Brath, and we want to do that while he's still around the field, the vibes and the love going out to him. And the joint will be rocking. I mean, it's going to be packed. You should get there early. We start at 4 o'clock. I would advise everyone not to come CP time, get their black people time, don't get their colored people time, because black people are always on time. Colored people, sometimes they sleep a little late. But it is going to be a dynamic event. If you were paying for any of these people, it would cost you a nice piece of change, and it's going to be a heck of an evening. And I'd like to thank Senator Perkins. I'd like to thank the December 12th movement. I'd like to thank the Brathwaite brothers for taking their time out and coming out here and giving the big black power fist to their dynamic big brother. I'm glad to know that Elombe's wife is up and around now. Yes. We got to get this brother up and around.
That's the goal.
Right. Then I'm going to throw his butt right on the front line. Let me say this, because we're running out of time. We only got like a minute left. We're having the People's Film Festival. The opening is May 30th. It runs from May 30th to June 2nd. May 30th is the first show. That show will be featuring the film by Felipe Nyang. It's Toussaint Louverture. And
where's it going to be?
Magic Johnson Theater. Thank you. See, that's why I need help. And I'm running out of time when you get here, because we also have on May 17th at Riverside Church an event that commemorates the Haitian struggle. Let me see if I can.
June 23rd, 100th anniversary of Carlos Cooks.
June 23rd. Say it again while I rush through this thing here.
With Dominican community to do an event. So stay tuned for that, and you can call 212-410-7892 for more information, and I can give that to you then, because I don't think we have time to really go too much.
I got like 20 seconds. They should be running my music. Again, Riverside Church is called Haiti Rising. It's the Riverside Church. You got to look that up online. I ain't got time to tell you all the addresses. But it's May 17th, and it's from 7 to 9 p.m. I don't see where the address is. But we'll be talking more about that in the next week, so we'll give you the address. Anyway, I would like to thank Kwame Brathwaite, John Brathwaite. We will see you Saturday at Harriet Tubman Center, commemorating the great soldier and Pan-Africanist Elombe Brath, and you should be there.